You'll enjoy this.
What would life be like without teachers? Wow.
Are the people on Zoom able to hear? Could you ask?
Life would.
Life wouldn't be the same actually. Teachers are the people that tell us to move forward, to teach us education that's very important. Yeah, you can learn stuff from the streets, but you won't know what's right or wrong.
There would
Okay.
not be a guide for
I'm sorry,
success. It would
That's
just
just a
be
quick fix
us
right now.
running around trying to find it.
Probably care
Just look-
because nobody would learn.
I think life would be pretty bland because teachers are the ones that, they teach us new things. They give us opportunities to find things out ourselves that we don't understand or don't know yet.
Nobody would be very smart. There'd be a lot of world problems because people would not know what to do.
I don't know how I would get through my day without teachers. They encourage me like all the time.
I couldn't imagine what it would be like without schools or teachers or any public education, because if we want to learn anything, we would be making the same mistakes over and over and over again.
Public education provides, it provides everybody with a chance, a fair shot to get what they need to succeed in life.
I feel like life wouldn't be fair for people who may not have the best deck of cards in life.
I wouldn't know discipline, I wouldn't know responsibility, I wouldn't know how to think and how to critically think and how to be me. I feel like there would be a decrease in a lot of dreamers, as in they don't know what they want to do with their lives. Teachers, honestly, they're amazing people. They dedicate their lives to teaching and just loving and inspiring kids to be whatever they want to be.
Without teachers, we lose our opportunities for leadership. Many people don't have someone at home that they can see as a leader, and teachers every day usually strive to become the leaders that are needed in our lives.
I've had teachers who tell me to chase my dreams, follow my dreams, find my passions and dig deep into them. And that definitely has affected me as a student. A life without teachers would be meaningless to me because teachers have crafted me into the person that I am today.
So I did not like school. I'll be honest with you, school was not for me. I skipped, I walked out, I tried to miss school each time. But there's some teachers that kind of make you come to school because it just brightens your day and makes it positive. So sometimes you really do. The only reason you come to school is just to see that teacher.
Miss Bowling, my adult director, has pushed me every day to do what I love and to be the person that I am today.
Honestly, it's Miss Williams.
Miss McCarty.
Miss Waller, my 11th grade AP US history teacher, 7th and 8th grade English teacher, Miss Bradley.
My favorite teacher is Miss Jerkin.
His name is Mr. Staten.
Miss Cundon, she's the special education teacher.
A teacher who motivates me a lot is Miss Beal.
My 10th grade chemistry teacher, Mr. Brian Dallin.
Miss Smith, she's my 9th grade biology teacher.
Miss Levino is my favorite teacher because she motivates me to do my best every day. She makes me laugh all day, and she's just the best teacher of all times.
She's super passionate and she loves her subject.
But it's really just because her passion and her interest.
Her passion for special needs kids has really pushed me to want to major in special education when I'm in college.
In her class, she empowered us to question things, to explore the unknown.
Miss Barth has changed my life because she's taught me how to be a better person.
And so you get emotional because she's made a big impact on your life. Right now, I want to give a thanks to Miss Payne because without her, I couldn't decide what I was going to do with my life. I want to thank her a lot because I'm gonna be the first person from my whole family to go to college, and I set my mind and I'm gonna do that goal. So I want to thank you, Miss Payne.
That's pretty great.
So every year reminder, you can visit our classrooms or use your home, you can style of that video. Captured it beautifully, huh?
They can hear, I believe, and see now.
Oh, yay. See Jen nodding her head. Welcome. It's good to see you. Good to be seen by you. So just a couple of other thoughts, and then our principals are here. Jose is here just to provide an update about kind of where we are and what we can look forward to as we get into the school year. When I was speaking to our staff yesterday, I shared my thoughts with them about one of the reasons that Wilton Public Schools is so strong is because they choose to stay. And I'm sure you've seen this statistic nationally, but just about half of all new teachers leave their profession within 5 years, right? It's tough. But here in Wilton, teachers come and they stay, and many of them stay for their entire careers. So I went back and just looked at the average tenure of our current faculty. The average years of service today across our faculty is 12 years. Nearly 20% of our staff has 20 or more years of service here in Wilton. We have several who are more than 40 years, right? They're just big time, long timers. 40% of our staff have been here in the district for 15 years, and over half have been here for more than a decade. I mean, so that's a real testament to this town's community, the strength of the system, and you know, it perpetuates its own strength through their longevity. So, you know, just thinking about that, you know, just the importance of teachers, the fact that our teachers come and stay. If there are parents who are here listening, what I'd say to some of you, to me, right? Our kids are in really good hands. They're incapable, confident, caring, for fortunate hands, and they're all going to have another really fun year this year. So, like Josh, like everybody else, you know, we're excited to welcome them on Monday. All right, so the state of Connecticut is supposed to release the state achievement scores this week. I haven't seen them yet, and so I'm just going to share with you a little bit, and hopefully not, you know, violate the request to keep the embargo data embargoed. We have preliminary state assessment data we got a few weeks ago. So it's really good again. So another year running, and you know, as we've talked before, you know, we think the way that we're using and implementing the acceleration framework is really impacting all kids and getting us to our goals. We demonstrated across the DIRG the strongest growth in mathematics achievement, both in terms of growth rate and percent of targets achieved. On the Connecticut School Day SAT, we had the strongest achievement on the UBRW and the second strongest achievement in mathematics. We also had the highest aggregate achievement on the NGSS, so that's the combined 50 and 11 grade scores. So we'll have, you know, time, you know, kind of in the future to unpack those much more deeply, but you know, just as a precursor, we're very, very well positioned academically to kind of pick up and continue the momentum from last year. Some other just kind of big picture priorities moving forward. We're going to continue the development and implementation of our local inclusion graduate. As you know, we had the Tri-State Consortium here last February, and we asked them to give us some feedback on our implementation progress to date. We got lots of really robust feedback from them. They took the time in the report to really call out Wilton High School and, you know, not only flag just the innovative approach that Wilton has taken with the portrait of the graduate, but we're especially complimentary about the work and the progress around that portfolio development, where we have students doing reflection activities and really making solid connections to those attributes and you know, continuing to cultivate them within themselves. So that work will continue. As I just mentioned a second ago, we really feel like we've found an effective approach with the acceleration framework, and so that work continues. As we've experienced over the last couple of days, we have been leaning a little bit on Peter Lilliard's work around building thinking classrooms. So really thinking about instructional design and tasks that maximize opportunities for student thinking. And so we'll, within the acceleration framework, that's going to be the area that we're really going to keep in our practice. And then, you know, we continue to pay close attention to the culture and climate in our schools. And so we have plans underway across all of our buildings to really ensure that our buildings are the kind of places that students feel safe and loved and welcome and they belong, and our staff members feel safe and loved and welcome and belong. And so we've got some good things there that we'll get to hear about as time goes on here in the near future. We'll also hear Peg and Jen talk about the work around play. We mentioned that, and that was some really exciting work that unfolded last year. We have a new STEM course that Danielle is leading over at Middlebrook. Now it's flying here. The drones are flying, and Fran's going to facilitate a team that will bring to you some new course proposals for STEM courses here at the high school in November. So those are some big picture priorities in terms of some other nuts and bolts about where we are as we start the year. From an enrollment perspective, we're currently above our projected enrollment by about 93 students. I will update you, throughout the week next week. I wouldn't be surprised if we remain above projection. I do think we haven't seen all of the withdrawals yet from movement across the summer, so I don't think we'll stay there. But we wound up making the decision maybe just under a month ago to add another section in kindergarten so we could keep those classes at 18. We're able to fund that through a couple of tuition things to instead of Genesis. So that'll be budget neutral. We're adding some additional to support over Genesis. Genesis is also capped, so we have our couple high school teachers who are going to provide some math and science support over the next year. And I anticipate we'll hire that paraprofessional. We have a couple of students who moved in from out of state between exceptional business and another parents wrote that. And other than that, everything is ready to go. So
it's we're building up like no community
we
voice.
start with the babies.
With a little. Sorry, Happy New Year. I was gonna throw confetti, but Jose was here. So we had a super busy year at Miller Driscoll, super busy summer. We hosted ESY, we hosted intervention, we hosted summer fun, we hosted camps. Rudy and his team of custodians cleaned it all up, cleaned all around it, cleaned the entire building and got it all ready. So we were very happy about that. We had several curriculum committees that met over the summer. So they met on social emotional learning, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the math program. So that was exciting. My admin team spent most of the summer hiring. After last year, we finished the year and didn't think we'd be hiring anybody. And then we pretty much hired all summer long. So we had a lot of new staff coming in. And then the most exciting thing was we had a peacock in the outdoor learning center. No joke. And you know where the outdoor learning center is? In the middle of our school.
Just came and
There was just a peacock in there. Who knew? Right? So I thought I'd show you that picture. Rudy's like, oh, I know how to pick up a peacock. I knew how to do this as a kid. Of course. So whatever, he rang with the peacock also while he's cleaning everything. I offered to have it come home with me, but he said he didn't want to live with a couple of coons, so okay, well, come to the house a little bit. No. All right, on to the next thing. So this week we welcomed all our certified and our classified staff, and we started the welcome back just how we want them to start every day with their kids. So we did it through play. So we had a lot of play stations set up, and the staff came in and played all different kinds of things depending upon their interests and what they wanted to do. So as Kevin said, we have a renewed focus on returning to some of the basics around building classroom community and starting the day with play. And all the classroom teachers, not just kindergarten, will start the day with play, and that will be our first PDSA cycle, so our Plan, Do, Study, Act. with IUTs will be all around that, having the kids come in and start their day that way. Also, in our welcome back days, our leadership team took the book Kids First from day one, divided it up and had some small groups that read different parts of the book and then came and presented to the rest of their colleagues on each of the different parts. So there were things like the flexible teacher, having your space reflect your students, but a lot of things, the big, with the big focus on the kids are the drivers of the classroom. It really shouldn't look like Pinterest. It should look like the kids made it. So it's okay if they make their own name tag. It doesn't have to all be the same font and things like that. It's okay if they have some say over, what their classroom library should look like. So those were some fun things we did. Just today, it seems like so long ago, but just this morning we greeted all of our kids pre-K to 2. So about 850 of them for Meet the Teacher. It was so exciting. They just come bounding in and they're just happy as can be. And their parents are even happier. Monday. So they're really excited. So we're looking forward to an amazing school year. PTA will be hosting some playground meetups this weekend. And yeah, last but not least, I'm going to share just a little quote. Carolyn Santa, she would hate if I used her name, but I'm using it. She has a wonderful phrase that I think just kind of sets the tone for the whole year. So our goal is for the students to have joyful engagement this year. So that's what we're going to strive towards. So here we are. We're excited to be there.
Yeah, thanks. Dr. Falcone. Can you hear us and you want to share some updates?
Hello there. Yes. Happy end of summer, everyone. It's good to see everyone, sort of. But yes, we've been busy too. Getting our building ready. I want to thank our custodial staff. We had a lot of fix-ups from some HVAC issues and thrilled Jose and his team. We've got everything ready and back in working order, and super excited to begin the year this way. Got lots of painting done. Our LLC is just going to be about ready for the kids to come in on Monday, so we're super excited about that. It's been a long journey. Over the summertime, we also had a lot of last minute hires. So we're really excited. We found some fantastic folks to join our team over at Cider Mill. Lots of curriculum work, specifically in the area of SEL and building communities and connections, and trying to really focus on some areas that kind of came up through our climate survey and some of our focus groups that we ended the year with. We did a lot of work with our coordinators, trying to focus in on some of those efforts as well. So really excited to start the year with some of those shifts. This week, of course, we welcomed back our staff. We did a lot with them on activities on building connections and relationships. And it's always fun to do a lot of that with our staff, and then talk about how it could be transferred into the classroom. Our leadership team, we did a lot of continued learning on teacher clarity, and I'm excited to move forward with some work around success criteria, and also how to start thinking about the portrait of the graduate and what that really looks like and what it means down at the intermediate elementary grades. So excited for that. And then today, of course, most excitingly, everything kind of leads up to this moment when we get all of the kids back in our school. And today was really just a joyous day, having everybody back. School feels like school when they're in our hallways, and we're excited to be working with our families and with our students this year. So I'm excited for the new school year. Thanks, everyone.
Ready for Middlebrook? So we're just so excited to welcome our students back on Monday. As I like to say, it's the lifeblood of our school, and it just fills the building with life. And today was a perfect example, as you heard from Jen and Kathy. It was just the excitement of all those bodies in the building. But we had a new parent coffee that included some of our new students, as well as our grade level walkthrough for all 3 grades. And it's just a really wonderful vibe right now at the Brook, and it's great energy and emotions as we anticipate the students coming on Monday. And I used the analogy in our staff meeting this morning. It's like getting ready for company. And you have to, like even today, I was walking through the hallways and making sure it's ready for company. You gotta be ready for company. And I likened it to visiting friends some time ago. It's actually a friend that I think everybody here knows, but I won't mention by name. We're going over to have dinner at their house and knock on the door, and he answers the door and he goes, "Oh, thank God you're here." And he yells to whoever in the house, "We can stop cleaning now." And just that idea of we're now at that point where, all right, the guests are here. Okay, it is what it is. Let's go, right? But there's that energy that's hard to describe that you build up to this moment. You get to that point, it's like, all right, here we go, we're going. And Ruth and Kevin were both in the building today as parents, which was nice to see. And certainly you got to experience that hustle and bustle of excited people everywhere, and not just talking about the kids. It's kind of hard to describe that energy, and I know I've done it for a few years, but I don't know that I have the words to really properly capture it. But it's also a little bit of that. Is this the end of summer, or is this the beginning of the school year, or is this maybe a little bit of both? And perspective is a funny thing. You kind of made the joke of it, but parents are all ready for it to be over and say, "Take them back, please, now." And the kids, while they're excited to see all their friends, they're not so attached to the idea of, okay, that means I have to get to work too. So there's a little bit of that balance, but I think most of the kids were really overall very excited. It was fun to talk to each one of them and at different times. So you're ready for something to be over? And they go, "Yes." I said, "You're lying." How can you be saying that? But honestly, there really were a lot of excitement about that. And so we're ready. And that's thanks to an amazing teaching staff at Meadowbrook, our administrative support staff. I can't begin to try to articulate some of the work that they did relative to the creation of schedules for students, and our custodial staff, just their tireless efforts. And like Elmer and his crew today, our head custodian is actually away and couldn't get his flight back, so that adds a whole nother dynamic to everything that's going on. But just our custodial staff doing whatever it takes to be ready. So we're very much excited and ready to have that lifeblood back on Monday. And I too will leave them with a quote. Leave you the quote that I think captures some of our respectful understanding of our work, but also the love our teachers have for what we do. It's actually from Dostoevsky, and that is, "The soul is healed by being with children."
Thank you. You're on top.
Okay, your Wilton High School Warriors. As we begin, we want to thank each board member for your support of our schools, sincerely, for being there, for being present, for caring. We cannot thank you enough on behalf of the Wilton Public Schools and the Wilton High School faculty. So what you do, and you could be anywhere right now and you're here because you really care about our school. So know that we appreciate that. We had new teacher induction on Monday, so we have 6 new teachers, but we also have our 3 new English colleagues from the Brook. And I spoke with some of them today. They're just very excited to be there and teach some different courses. So we are, to use, I think, an appropriate term, inculcating them in the Wilton High School way, just getting them ready. They're excited to be here, and they're going to get a lot of support from you and a lot of support from us so that we ensure that they're successful. On Tuesday, we had our Leadership Institute in here. So some of the things we worked on in your very chairs were portrait of a graduate. We celebrated some of the work that we already did, some of the accolades from the Tri-State report, but also the recommendations. We want to take this head on and really move that further down the field and really have that be successful. We're excited about the portrait of a graduate, Wilton High School. A lot of work around, design thinking and making thinking visible, which is right in line with district priorities and what we're working on right now. And also, just a more comprehensive and tighter plan to ensure that that is all aligned with our IETs, our instructional effectiveness team meetings, and also our PD planning. So to have the through line of those things right throughout the year. And we have some new ILs, and that's exciting because they bring some fresh ideas and fresh perspectives. So we had a really productive day on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we had our very own Wilton High School convocation. And so ours looks a little bit different from the district. What we do is we essentially celebrate new staff. We introduce them publicly and really just make them feel as if the entire Wilton High School faculty is ready to embrace them and support them, which is really, really cool, actually. And then we did take some time to recognize, student, and I made sure to tie it in with both staff achievement, because Dr. Smith alluded a little bit to some of these, some of these test score data. I think we did very well with the Connecticut SAT, and our science teachers who were concerned about the NGSS performance, 92%. And when I announced that, they were over there, do a little celebration, and rightfully so, because this is about our kids and it's about our students, having one less graduation requirement to meet, and that less stressor off of both shoulders. So we did take the opportunity to celebrate that. And we had a keynote speaker. We had our very own Chip Gall come back. You may either know Chip Gall or heard of him. He, of course, is a Wilton Public Schools Hall of Famer. And Chip, being very astute, he talked about the state of our craft, meaning the craft of education, how things are. And he's walked in the shoes of our faculty and staff for 30 plus years. So I think he gave an inspirational little speech on hope and how important it is, the impact he had on some students, the importance of, developing programs over time, and also, some of the bigger picture challenges that we face. So we brought Chip back in, and he was very well received, and we're just proud to have him back. And that was the keynote address. And Brian's going to talk about a few more things, and then I'll finish.
Yeah, so after Tuesday and setting the stage for what we're going to do for the year, we got all teachers back in after Chip gave them an invigorating, motivational kickoff to the year. They had a chance to meet in departments, and so all of those things that we're going to be working on, our ILs were able to explain that to them, give them a chance to greet each other, set the stage for what the work was going to be for the year, take some time to do some celebrations. That was as smooth as it usually is, and our stage is set, so we're ready to go with things that we're going to be working on. They also had a chance to meet and talk about how advisory is going to approach our work with the portrait of a graduate this year, and we set a bit of base language so that we can make sure that everybody's talking with the same vocabulary, so we have an easier way of making it for the students to achieve their portfolio, to achieve those attributes of the portrait of graduate. So we're well on our way already this year. We're where we want to be with all of that work. Tomorrow we have our freshman orientation. So we have our link crew students that are part of the program, with the leaders that are our student leaders, with also our teacher facilitators. And they're going to be out there with us greeting our ninth graders and their parents. We have PTSA running a parent panel. And so that's a very successful thing that we do at the beginning of the year. Speaking of the PTSA, they threw a lovely breakfast for the teachers this morning, and it was well received. And thank you very much to the PTSA for doing that. I know that it was wonderful for the teachers to feel that recognition. So yeah, we're off and running and ready for some new faces tomorrow. We also will have our new students that aren't freshmen joining us. So our sophomores, juniors, and seniors. We'll be meeting them in the afternoon. So yeah, we're ready to go.
So Josh and I just walked the fields before we came over here, and we saw smiles, we saw captains, leadership, good coaching staffs, and athletic director Rushton is already reporting record numbers. So we're excited about the new seasons coming right up.
And it's been said already before, but I think everybody's excited for Monday. As July turned into August, more and more people started showing up in the building. And then last week, there was a little bit of a buzz, and certainly we're back into nearly full swing. We just need the most important group now, that's the students. So we're going to get half of them tomorrow, or a quarter of them, and then we'll get all of them on Monday. So we're just excited for Monday.
And a shout out to our staff, their professionalism, their preparedness. They will be ready to go, and they're ready to greet the students. And I have a saying, as you know, Wilton High School never sleeps, and it never slept this summer. Thank you to Andrea. We had the ESY program there, a number of other programs, and the place is packed. We have freshmen going through finding their lockers right now, and the teachers are excited. Actually, Kim and Debbie and Pam and Kathy are over there setting up for tomorrow for Link Crew. So we're going to be ready, and we're excited. So again, in conclusion, thank you for your support of our schools.
Questions for any of the questions? Jose? Amazing facilities director, Jose Figueroa, welcome. Talk about a person who doesn't sleep.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me. It was an extremely busy summer. It flew by, but we are definitely excited for the students to come on Monday, to see all our buildings being occupied by students and their families, and to kind of see the joy that they have. It's very, very nice. We're super excited. This year, we didn't really have any projects that were put aside. The two big projects that we had were the camera projects that the town funded. I want to give a shout out to a couple of my crew members, Luis Gonzalez. What an amazing job he did. He ran 109 camera drops this summer on top of doing his regular work. So I want to shout him out for all the hard work he's done at all the schools. Just to give you some numbers, at Miller Driscoll, we installed 21 cameras. At Cider Mill, there was 23 cameras. At Middlebrook, we're 19, and at the high school, 46. So this is coverage that we needed, especially on the perimeter of our building. We have coverage now in our south lot. It was a situation where we had some catalytic converters missing, and we addressed that now, so we'll have some coverage there. But it just goes to show you that, you know, the guys are working very hard. I would like to also acknowledge our maintenance crew, which is, there's two guys, Murillo Franca and Ramon Martinez. They just continue to get these lists that are coming in and getting the work done. And, you know, they're still busy. They'll be here this weekend. I also want to acknowledge Rudy and his crew at Miller Driscoll. You know, they have a new building, but it's extremely difficult to keep that building new. And they've done an amazing job, and he has a great crew there. So I want to acknowledge him. And then also Elmer for stepping up. You know, he's stepped up to the plate and got our building, Middlebrook, kind of where it needs to be for Monday. And we have a new plant manager, Mike Crisqualo, who's phenomenal. He has hit the ground running and just kind of took the bull by the horns and, you know, really stepped into one of our biggest buildings and has done a phenomenal job. So I'm super excited to be working with him moving forward. As far as other projects, you know, I want to shout out Jeff Pardo for overseeing the roofing project at Middlebrook, which was a huge task. We had challenges with the weather. Was not cooperating with us, but he was still able to get the roof completed. There's still going to be minor work that'll be done while school's in session, but majority of it will be done on the weekend. And also Frank Simiglio, who's in the town as well. We had that bad storm on Friday where we had that torrential downpour. In the back of Comstock, we have issues with water flowing down to the back of our building. They were there Tuesday. He had a crew out today, and they resolved the problem. So I want to give a shout out to them, because there was no way that we would have been able to get that work done, and we would have had to take the playground area offline, and that would have impacted our students. So I want to give a shout out to them. As far as work being done at Miller Driscoll, it was just a standard, you know, work, you know, painting corridors and just making sure we worked around all the organizations that were in the facility. That was something that was extremely difficult for us this year, and it's getting more and more use our facilities, which we enjoy it, but at the same time, we really need time to be able to get the work done. And the head custodians had expressed that to me, and I talked to Dr. Smith, and
we're
we're
not so touchy, but as we think about next year,
yeah,
as the building usage is growing, we might have to move some things around so our custodians can actually
So they work hard. We had some unexpected repairs at Miller Driscoll that we didn't really budget for. We had a hot water heater that went. And then we also had a freon leak in the indigo core and the purple core, which causes us some problems. And I mean, between those two repairs is $39,000. So the equipment is new, but it's amazing how we have a new facility, but yet these issues that are popping up are actually costing more money than our older buildings. So that's something that we got to kind of look at, especially when we're doing this assessment moving forward, just to make sure that, you know, things are getting done properly. There was some landscaping work that was done in the front of the school, which was nice. That was a company that we outsourced. We just don't have the time to do it, but it's money well spent. You know, they're good to go. Rudy and his crew are buttoning things up tomorrow. They'll be ready for school on Monday. On Cider Mill, you know, we were able to replace the coil that was damaged during that, what was it, the February, I believe, it was a freeze, the coil burst. So we were able to get that replaced just last week. We had some issues with the frequency drives that were prior to the power surge. So again, Lewis, he installed 7 frequency drives. We're in good shape now. We got that all taken care of. There was some residual work that needed to get done. We had actuators that were bad, which caused water issues, but we took care of that. You know, we replaced a section in the cafeteria, some ceiling tiles to, you know, sprucing up that place. We painted the cafeteria. There was some repair work done on the tile. There was quite a bit of work, paint done in the corridors just to freshen up the space. Again, we did landscaping there as well. We had a company come out to do the main entrance and then the inner courtyards. Something that I've done this year was trying to get our parking lots painted. We took care of the high school and we were able to get cider mill done, but the weather hasn't really cooperated with us. So we're going to continue to do that and make our way over to Middlebrook and to Miller Driscoll. And we still have to do a south lot. So those are things that we're working on. In the music room, there's a ductless split unit that went. So we got to replace that. So we're in the process of taking care of that. That's cider mill. Then Middlebrook, we started off our year running. We had to move 40 classrooms in 2 days. So we got that done, so which was nice to help out the staff there. I know there was a lot of changes and we had to rearrange the facility, but you know what? We were able to tackle the job. It took the whole crew, the district, to get it done. It was nice. It was able to work together as a team and to achieve that goal. Because at first I was kind of like, oh man, how is this going to work? You know, 40 classrooms. I thought we were going to spend weeks and weeks there, but we were able to get it done. Again, 19 cameras installed. We've had issues with cider mill in Middlebrook. You know, we have chiller units there and there's an assessment that's being done by the town and they'll address that. It's just, we really need to look at that and make some improvements because it's starting to show its age and we're having moisture issues and it's just becoming more and more difficult to keep that building where it needs to be. So, but you know, we're ready to go. And like I said, Elmer has stepped up tremendously and done a phenomenal job. So I want to give a shout out to him. At the high school, we made some improvements. We added windows in the weight room. So now you're able to look in when you're passing because there was a lot of blind spots in there. So we just didn't feel comfortable having that. So now that we have the ability to look into the space and kind of see what's going on in there. So that was nice. Again, the 46 cameras that Lewis ran, we're in the process to replace the banners that are out in the parking lots. We got them in. It's just, again, the weather hasn't cooperated with us. So the guys will probably be working on that Saturday. So you'll see those replaced. We're also working with Bobby and Eric Hawkinson to run point to point out to Lily Field so that we'll have the ability to stream games. So that's in the works. So Eric ordered a point to point. We have a company coming out to put the actual pad, so for the posts to be installed. So we should have that pretty much buttoned up next week, middle of next week. The south lot was a big one. You know, Lewis took care of that a couple of days ago with the camera coverage. So that was huge. And then we also had some landscaping done here. Central office down by the Clune Auditorium, the main entrance, which you know, looks nice, you know, when you pull into the facility. And then just our regular, you know, maintenance, you know, painting and trying to get as much as we can get done. You know, once you start painting, you can continue to paint, but it's just time is of the essence. So we just don't have that much time. But we're really looking forward to the kids coming back and just continue to, you know, make improvements and, you know, try to make the place safer for our students and staff. So,
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
That's been all summer long.
Yes. There's a lot of
Well, I'm very pleased to give a hiring update tonight. We welcomed 20 new staff members to the teaching ranks this fall. The past couple of days, we had a very successful new teacher induction. The other day, we filled 19 classified staff positions. We do have a number of open positions in teaching, actually 6. And really, that's because we've had several last minute resignations just over the past couple of weeks that people are relocating. So we have a plan in place for every one of those openings. We posted interviews have already started. So we're feeling very good about that. I do want to highlight for a moment some of the things that we're most proud of with this fall class of 2023. And I know that I shared some of this the other day at new teacher induction, so I'll just go over the highlights. They reflect the top 5% of a very competitive applicant pool. Many of the applicants that applied this season, similar to previous seasons, are experienced teachers from neighboring districts. So we were really pleased when we were reviewing the different applications and conducting interviews. And we really feel like we've selected the best of the best. We have teachers who range from their first year teaching to their 25th year teaching, every teaching. Some became teachers right out of college, others join us from other professions, in legal fields, in the art world, in business. We have a small business owner who has had a business for 10 years, selling edible cookie dough in over 200 stores, including Whole Foods. So I got to sample one, I can say they're delicious. And, you know, they've been recognized with numerous awards, Rookie of the Year, Hometown Hero, numerous scholarships. They're an international group. They've lived and worked in different countries, including India, France, South Korea, and China, just to name a few. And we're very proud of the activities that they engage in their personal lives. Their volunteerism in different organizations that they commit themselves to. The American Cancer Society, the Multiple Sclerosis Society, the Connecticut Collective for Women and Girls, Shine Your Light in Connecticut. Not an exhaustive list, but we really feel like this is a group that's living our motto and purpose, Wilton Public Schools for a better world. And we know they're going to come and continue to inspire our students and lead by example. They engage in a rigorous 3-part interview process, which is always inclusive of an initial interview with the committee of the building, a second interview with a demonstration a demonstration lesson, and an interview at central office. And we really feel like we get to know the candidates well through that process, and the candidates get to know us well. You know, we're courting them through that process as much as they're courting us. And in many cases, they're being recruited from neighboring districts, and they choose us because of the way that they feel when they're in the buildings, the way that they're treated by the administrators and staff on the interview committees. And I hear it every year. You know, when they've been offered positions in neighboring districts, they choose us because they really feel like this is a place that puts kids first, is highly collaborative, and has a very positive culture. So we're very excited about this group. And I think that's all that I have for the update for tonight. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them. Yes. So we have a world language position open at the middle school, humanities coach at the middle school, an interim special education position, that's someone who's on leave, culinary arts position, PE, and another special education position.
Is that 6 a high number to have?
Well,
leave?
You know, if you had asked
So great to
weeks
start.
ago, in fact, Kevin and I were checking in regularly. It was a much lower number, and we had one open position. So it's higher than what we would like, because obviously we'd like to be fully staffed starting the first day of school. But it's all, you know, it's contextual. And I think in every instance, we have a plan. We have, you know, subs in place. You know, the coaching position is not a position that needs to be filled for day one. You know, again, they already started screening interviews for that. So naturally you want to be fully staffed, but it's also relative. You know, you look at other school districts that still have 20 vacancies to fill. Some more than that. So we feel good about the plan that we have in place. We're moving forward with interviews already, and we hope to have them closed soon.
Yes, well, thank you for having me. I'm providing an update on Parent Square, which is the new comprehensive all-in-one communication tool that's replacing School Messenger. Over the summer, we implemented and formally actually implemented Parent Square. And in preparing for that rollout, we did a number of things. One of the things is that it is now synced with PowerSchool, which means that on a nightly basis, the information is updated for our families. We've added groups to make it easier for those that are communicating with families, such as bus groups and grade levels, classes, a variety of other things. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be also implementing the student portion of it, which is called Student Square. And that will replace Remind. It's a text-based kind of system. And Matt Hepper and Kim Semo, as well as our admin teams, have already begun working with Parent Square on their attendance module, so that we'll be able to provide fairly quick in terms of that information for attendance for our families. Gotta say, over the course of from June through the summer, we did a lot of training. We trained our office staff. We trained our admin team. They're actually pretty good at this. We trained Wilton Continuing Ed, our athletics office, webmasters, tech ILs, and PTA presidents and communication leads. So all in all, it's been wonderful. It's been well received by everyone that I've actually done the training with. It's an intuitive, easy tool to actually use. And I think that the parents will also like it as a visually really appealing tool, and one that actually is going to do a lot more as we go along. We've gotten the word out in the superintendent message and handbook. There was information about Parent Square. In the past week, I've sent instructions and how-tos for parents, as well as an invitation to a webinar that's going to be taking place next Thursday evening over Zoom from 6:30 to 7:30. Half of it will be on Schoology, just for parents' information. It'll be a refresher and really helpful for new families that are just getting onto Schoology. The other part of it will be a step-by-step on how to actually use Parent Square to set up notifications, make sure that we're getting through the registration process, and just a few tips in terms of some of the tools that really will make it helpful for families, such as the fact that they can change the languages. There's over 100 languages that parents can change it to, so that they can get the notifications in a language that that meets their needs. In addition to that, they'll be able to change notifications and how they're being received. I know one of the things that we've heard from parents is that they get too many, not too few, but too many, because they're coming from so many different schools and so many different departments. One of the choices is we need a digest, which means that all of the communications will come in one document at the end of the day, and be really consolidated and much easier for the parents. Of course, the urgent alerts will override that, and everyone will get those at the time that they're sent. So that's part of it. Some of the other things that we really have liked about it is that we can share to the web. So in addition to having a really easy communication system, we've been able to add certain things, important information to the front page of all of our school sites. So it's a very easy click, and we share to the web, and it makes even our websites even much more up to date and current in terms of the information. And I think that the folks that have looked at it said, it's really easy to even understand. It kind of looks a little bit like Facebook, so it has that social media type of look. And some of the potential going forward, it has the potential of signups. Like, for example, if you've got an event, you can actually put in different times and parents can sign up for different slots. RSVPs, it's got polls. It's got a couple of things where you can request for volunteers or items. And we're going to explore all these further, because as soon as I started talking about some of these, even our admin team was like, wow, potential here. We can see this actually working for us in things like parent conferences. So we're going to explore all that. Few statistics, always good to provide that. 134, that's the number of RSVPs I've already received for the webinar next Thursday night. If there are any parents that still want to register for that and RSVP for it, in the Parent Square information that was sent out, there is an RSVP The name of that document is called Introducing Parent Square. So putting it out there just in case anybody else wants to sign up. 41, that's the number of posts that have already been sent out from our district in the past week and a half. And which is really phenomenal, and everybody is doing a wonderful job with that. 14, that's the number of errors we have, which means that our database is 99.6% contactable or able to be contacted through email. If we fix those 14, we will be at 100%, which we will, but just to give you an idea, we're actually constantly going through it and making sure that that information is correct. 1,427, the number of parents that have already downloaded the app, but we encourage every parent to do so. And then just a couple of little things. Love to have parents that are listening to this, please go in and register for Parent Square. It is our major communication system this year. I will continue sending out reminders to those that have not registered, but we need to make sure that everybody does that. And finally, I'm looking forward to working with everybody that is going to come next week to the webinar and to continue developing this further.
That's so great. Will the webinar be recorded? So we're doing available afterwards?
Yes, I'm gonna record it. And we'll see how it all goes. If there's a need for further later on, we'll address that.
No, it's been really tremendous. The rollout and the potential for it is phenomenal. So thank you for all your support.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it, do parents have to do something to, I'm thinking bad weather, like we've got 1,420.
Oh,
signed up already.
Yeah, so
will they get a phone call when
they-
they've signed up?
So the emergency, what I was calling the alerts, override what anyone puts in their notifications. Everyone will get it. It can come in a variety of forms. I know that typically when Lucille sends it out of Kevin's office, it's email, text, and voice. So that will all happen. And there is an app, but I think that in those cases, we want to use as many means as possible to get the word out.
Does the PTA have access to this too?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've done 2 trainings with PTA groups. I believe that at least one representative from each of the PTAs has come to the trainings, and I've had some folks at the high school that are communications leads also come. I'm meeting with Kara, who's the SEPTA president as well, because she is going to also use it as a system for getting the word out. And I believe there's at least 1 or 2 PTA presidents that have already sent out messages using it.
So they have full administrative access, or
they have access that is appropriate and safe in terms of the data. I work with Parent Square on creating special permissions.
So they can't see.
They can't see, but they
send
can
out.
send.
Perfect.
Yeah.
To their specific.
Me, yeah, got it.
Now to possible action items, discuss and approve the 23-24 Board of Education meeting calendar. Calendars up, we've looked at it several times. The one difference from this time from the fall is that originally we had the budget approval set for February 15th, which was the day before vacation. So as of right now, we've taken that date off the calendar, set the date for February 8th, and then we will know if we need to schedule a special meeting. If the board at that time determines that's necessary, that can be slotted back in. And that's the only change. Are there any questions on the calendar? Is there a motion to approve the 23-24 Wilton Board of Education calendar? Thank you, Pam. Is there a second? Thank you, Jen. All in favor? Any opposed? Carries unanimously. And the second calendar item is the board committees meeting date. And that's set for 23-24
It follows a monthly schedule. And the times of them were carried over from last year. Are there any questions or concerns on the committee schedule? Is there a motion to approve the committee meeting schedule? Thank you, Laura. Is there a second? One second. Thank you, Nicola. All in favor? Carries unanimously. The next item is to discuss and approve the K-12 accident insurance application.
Great, so just a little bit of recent history here. A little less than a year ago, the town hired that Buffett to be the town administrator. So he has been looking at all different kinds of operations and efficiencies within the town. As a long time selecting up and done a lot of expertise. So one of the areas that he zeroed in on was insurance coverage. And in part, if you remember when we had a year and a half ago or so, the storm over at Center Mill that caused all kinds of damage. The coverage wasn't great, so we need to get it removed. So that kind of we need to just go back and get different carriers. So Matt did some investigating and recommended earlier this summer to the slightly notice which carriers or brokers rather from HTC to USI. So they selected did that, and then in going through all of the various policies from the board and town, the recommendation came forward to switch student accident insurance carriers. So the proposal was to do that. The cost of the premium is the same year to year, 2022 to 2023. The base cost is $65,693. The catastrophic coverage premium is just a bit over $1,600, and then there's also a voluntary. What else? So the coverage is the same as I had been discussing coverage. So this is the recommendation. The bond cost insurance is one of the leading providers. I imagine this, if we kind of go forward here, the town board carries 15 different policies. So as we continue to get with USI, I imagine that's going to be policies that come back to you. That answer your question? The bonds. Yeah, that's a great question. So I'd have to go back and look at where we can take that, but I mentioned those out, with all of our other things. There's, I think it is part of our athletics. We provide students insurance. I'll have to think of it. It's just verify. So that is a practice that we've had for a long time. Yeah.
That's a good question. And Kevin, on the with Bosky, it says football right here. Is that just like it says on the fourth line down, effective date, grades included in football?
Yeah, so football is included coverage.
But it's every sport is included, right?
Yeah, there's no umbrella policy.
Okay, I just didn't know why it's called that football. Got it.
So we're looking for a motion to just improve disparity in which agents do that.
Their motion to approve the policy. So, thank you, Laura. Is there a second? Thank you, Pam. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
Then I'll get back to you.
Future business and information items. We will be meeting next Thursday, September 7th. And then the 21st and October 5th. Comments from the public. Me in the room? Isaac?
No.
Hearing none. The meeting is adjourned at 8:13 and I'll be back to school.